Everyone thinks a wireless Android Auto dongle is either magic or a mess, but here's the thing, the Carlinkit U2-X can be both, depending on how you use it, because the truth is your car's USB system and your phone's settings matter more than the marketing. I spent 2 weeks testing the U2-X across multiple cars, 3 phones, hot summer days, and rush hour commutes, and what I uncovered flipped my expectations. On paper, it promises seamless wireless Android Auto and CarPlay. In reality, there are hidden settings and a couple of quirks that make all the difference. Watch closely because the wins are real, but so are the caveats. Before we dive into what I discovered, a quick heads up. If you're already convinced and want the best current price, I've dropped the link below. But stick around because there are 2 settings you need to change on day 1 to avoid the most common headaches. Here's why I went hunting for this. I'm done with cables. My weekday routine is a 50-minute commute with a coffee in one hand and a bag in the other. Plugging in every time sounds small, but after a year, it was the tiny daily annoyance that added up. I'd tried cheaper dongles that promised wireless Android Auto. They connected, then randomly dropped during calls or froze when switching between Waze and Spotify. My car reads phone inputs strictly, and my partner uses an iPhone, so we needed something that plays nice with both platforms. Enter the U2-X, marketed as a dual-mode adapter that handles both Android Auto and CarPlay, with 5 GHz Wi-Fi, OTA updates, and factory-style integration. I was hopeful, also skeptical. I've been burned by wireless adapters that crumble under real-world interference. Testing Round 1 Daily Driver Install. I plugged the U2-X into the USB port, waited for the car to recognize a smartphone interface, then paired via Bluetooth and let it hand off to 5 GHz Wi-Fi. First boot to full Android Auto took about 45 seconds. Subsequent starts averaged 15-20 seconds. Navigation was snappy, Spotify album art loaded, and steering wheel controls worked. But then, on the first phone call, the other side heard a slight echo. That's where it gets interesting. Inside the U2-X settings page accessed via its Wi-Fi, I changed mic pass-through and lowered mic gain. Echo gone. Visual hook. Cut to screen showing the settings page, mic gain slider, and a live call test. Scenario 2, wired Android Auto head unit. On a commuter route with dense Wi-Fi, I pushed it with back-to-back app switches and voice commands. The U2-X stayed connected for a 40-minute drive with one brief dropout near a crowded intersection that reconnected in under 10 seconds. Latency on map gestures felt near native. Audio lag was barely noticeable for podcasts and music. But then, when I jumped from Google Maps to Waze while streaming Spotify, there was a half-second UI pause. No crash, just a momentary hiccup. Firmware update time. Scenario 3, firmware and interference. I updated over the air in about 5 minutes. In the advanced settings, I forced 5 GHz only and disabled automatic frequency hopping. That change alone took connection stability from good to great on my route with lots of interference. Visual hook, side-by-side before-after showing a map route with a past dropout versus a clean drive. Scenario 4. Mixed households and handoffs. My Android phone was set as primary. When my partner got in with an iPhone, the U2-X initially fought to keep my device. Tapping the switch button in settings and setting device priority solved it. Long pressing the voice button triggered Google Assistant for Android and Siri for iPhone as expected. But then I tested back-to-back starts. 2 days later, it remembered priority and just worked. Visual hook. Dashboard shot showing a quick swap between Android Auto and CarPlay. Heat and cold. In a 95-degree cabin, the dongle felt warm, not hot, and stayed stable through a 70-minute drive. On a chilly morning, first connection took closer to 25 seconds but then held steady. Calls after the mic tweak were clear and the other side reported normal volume. Here's the most surprising discovery. In a head unit that only supported CarPlay from the factory, the U2-X's conversion mode brought Android Auto to the screen reliably once I toggled the right setting. That makes it a quiet game changer for mixed iPhone Android households. It is not universal magic. Compatibility varies by head unit, so check the brands list. But when it worked, it felt OEM level enough that my passenger didn't notice it was wireless. Second surprise, the 2 hidden tweaks that fix most complaints. 1. Set it to 5 GHz only to minimize interference and dropouts. 2. Adjust mic settings to eliminate echo for calls. I logged about 16 hours of driving with 3 minor drops in total, 0 hard resets and faster reconnections than the budget dongle I owned previously. Compared to cheaper adapters, the U2-X booted quicker, felt more stable in dense Wi-Fi, and handled multi-device households better. Compared to premium alternatives, it matched connection time and beat a couple on recovery speed. Is it too good to be true? No, but it's not flawless. A few cars with strict USB host rules still present quirks, and some early Android 13 builds introduced oddities that recent firmware largely fixed. If your car already has wireless Android Auto or CarPlay factory installed, you don't need this. If you hate tinkering with settings, you might get frustrated before you dial it in. Everyone else. It's a strong pick that rewards 5 minutes of setup. Now that you know the 2 tweaks that make it rock solid, you'll want to grab it before the next batch or the price bumps. I've linked the best current price below, and I'll keep that link updated if a newer firmware or bundle shows up. Bottom line, I recommend the Carlinkit U2-X for anyone with a wired CarPlay or wired Android Auto head unit who wants it wireless, especially if your household mixes iPhone and Android. Skip it if your car already supports wireless natively, or if call quality perfection is your top priority and you refuse to tweak settings. For everyone else, it's the dongle that finally behaves like it belongs in the car. Set it once, drive happy, and let the cable retire to the glove box.